In the mix with DJ Rambo Rich.
Okay, so welcome to the What's That Music About podcast. I'm your host, DJ Rambo Rich, and in this episode, we're speaking to singer-songwriter all the way from Glasgow. It's Zara Louise. So first of all, thanks for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And if you want to just introduce yourself, tell a bit about yourself, and we'll start the interview.
Yeah, so my name's Zara Louise, and I'm a singer-songwriter from Glasgow in Scotland, and I write folk pop music about self-discovery and relationships and just like growing and learning and basically dealing with the confusion of life and being young.
I love that. I mean, I first discovered you through your videos on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing your videos on Instagram, and it was sort of like, I don't know if this might offend you or not, but it was very different from like other musicians that are singer-songwriters, the way you sort of put your content out there, which was interesting to me. So as soon as I saw your content, I was like, yeah, we've got to get this person on the podcast. So yeah, I thought I'd mention.
Yeah, I wanted to like do something different and like stand out. And I guess the most important thing for me is like being authentic, and I try to like be kind of like authentic as possible in my videos. So hopefully that comes across.
Definitely, it showed to me. So definitely. So I think what we're going to do now is go to the first round, which is called mixtapes and memories. So 1 second, and we'll be back with that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so this is mixtapes and memories, and in mixtapes and memories, we talk about past memories and how you started getting involved in music. So to start that off, what is your earliest memory of music?
Ooh, well, I joined the choir when I was 4 years old, and I was the youngest ever member in my primary school choir. So that probably would be like my earliest memory. And I think at the time, I loved going to choir after school, and I think my earliest memory was finding out that the choir had been like cancelled and it wasn't a thing anymore. And I remember being like super upset.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of showed from a young age that I was very like into music and I wanted to be a part of it. That was like my earliest memory of music. But yeah.
I love that. So what's your sort of early, like, what's the sort of first time you realised, you know what, I actually want to perform music?
Perform music? Well, I studied musical theatre for the majority of like my high school years, and then I went to college and did that. So I guess for like professional performing, if I wanted to be like a singer-songwriter, it would have been like around like high school, like 15, 16, when I actually was like considering like, could I make this a career, and could like, do I want to perform as a career, or do I want to do something else? Kind of around the time where the teachers are like asking you like, what are you going to do with your life? So I guess that was it. But I've always wanted to sing. That's always like been at the back of my mind. So yeah.
I love that. First of all, I just want to mention that I love that you mentioned musical theatre there. I think it's a good foundation for any sort of performer. I did musical theatre myself, so I think, you know, whatever you're doing, music theatre is always going to be a good foundation. So what was the first CD you bought? Or was it not physical media for you? What was the first music you started buying?
Well, this is a bit of a weird one, but when I was 8 years old, I was tidying. I think I was just like messing around or doing something in my mum and dad's bedroom, and I came across a Michael Buble CD.
Yeah.
And it was the Crazy in Love CD. And I was just like obsessed with it. Like I was like a massive fangirl of Michael Buble at the age of 8 years old. So that was like my first CD that I ever had and that I was obsessed with. And I think it was just something to do with like the jazzy music and like the kind of upbeat and like the romantic side of the music that I loved. But that was definitely like a CD that I like was obsessed with and that I loved so much. But yeah.
I love that. And so this is a bit of a trickier question. So what would you say is the things from your early influences that have influenced you today in your music?
Ooh, I think I grew up listening to a lot of Michael Buble and Ariana Grande, which are like completely like opposite ends
Yeah,
of the
they are,
scale.
aren't they? Yeah.
But I think probably the thing that influences my music right now would be Ariana Grande and the way she uses her voice as like an instrument. That's definitely one of the things that inspires me as a singer songwriter is like, how can I experiment with my voice? And I feel like Ariana Grande kind of like encompasses that kind of aspect of music. Um, and yeah, I guess with the jazzy element, Michael Bublé kind of like um, influenced that kind of style of music. And then as I grew up, I was listening to like more jazz, and I discovered the singer songwriter called Leve, and she's like very big in like the jazz kind of pop scene. So
Yeah.
that kind of being introduced to jazz allowed me to like discover like more freedom in my voice and that kind of thing of like experimenting and not being like tied down to like specific like sounds and stuff. You can just do whatever you want, which I really like. I think is important, especially in like my songwriting. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So I think what we're going to do now is move to the next round, which is on repeat. So 1 second, and we'll be back with that. Okay, so this is on repeat, and in on repeat, we talk about your current challenges and successes at the moment. So to start that off, or you would say the things that are going well in your music?
I think the things that are going well is the songwriting aspect. Right now, I seem to be like in the groove of like writing new songs, which like sometimes as a musician you go in and out, and sometimes you just don't have anything to say or anything to write. But I feel like right now I have like a lot of things to write. Because there's a lot of stuff going on in my life right now, which is good because it means that I have like content and like stories to like tell.
Yeah.
So I think that aspect is going well.
I love that. So, what would you say in opposite to that are the things that are more challenges, shall we say?
I think right now, as a small artist, the thing that's challenging most is like getting my music out there and getting
Yeah,
it heard. I think that's like the hardest part as like an independent artist is like being patient and for me, I don't want my music to be like a viral hit. I want it to be like slowly built up so it has like a strong foundation. So I just have to
yeah.
like remind myself that um, it's gonna be slow at the start, but sometimes it just feels like so like off-putting because you're like, I feel like I'm just sending things out to the void and like nothing's happening. But yeah, I guess that's the hardest part.
I mean, it's an interesting point you make there. Like, sometimes in creative industries, it can feel like what like is anyone listening to this? Like, what am I doing this for? But then, like, I always try and remind myself why I started, and like I've had the same issue with the podcast. Like, at first there wasn't many people listening, but then suddenly, like, it starts to get momentum, and I think it's good that what you're saying here about getting a good foundation of listeners. I think it comes back to the old adage of don't run before you can walk. It's interesting there. Well, that's a good point you make, and I think more people need to think a bit like that in creativity because it's not going to happen overnight. And then when
No,
it does happen one day, people will say to you, "Oh, you were an overnight success," and you're like,
it's not
"No,
true.
I've had like
No.
10 years of this stuff I've been doing." So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So what are the focuses for this year?
The focus for this year, right now, I'm working towards releasing another single soon. And then if I get funding, which I'm applying to, is hopefully record my first EP and get it out by the end of the year. So I guess my focus right now is creating music and creating more like content, and then like getting out there and like just singing and doing like open mics and stuff like that. But yeah, I just want to like get myself out there, and get like my name known and like start getting like networks and stuff like that. That's my main
Yeah,
focus for this year. But yeah,
I love that. So how do you separate the creative side of performing compared to like the business side? How do you sort of separate that?
um, I guess. Well, right now I'm working in a hospitality job, so that takes up most of my time,
Yeah.
as a way to get income. So my creative side and my business side kind of just come together at the moment. I'm doing it like at the same time whenever I
Yeah.
have like free time. In a perfect world, like I would separate them, but I guess for the creative side, it's just about like consuming other people's art and finding inspiration. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I get that. Yeah.
Like watching stuff to feel inspired by, because sometimes I'll watch a TV show and see a relationship, and then I'm like, oh, I want to write a song about that. Or
Yeah.
you see a painting or something that inspires you, I guess. Yeah.
So this is a question that leads on from that. So obviously, I'm assuming 9 to 5, and then you do music 5 to 9, shall we say? So
Yeah.
my question is, how do you like look after your mental health and your well-being with that much on the plate? Because it's a lot to do, a day job, then come home and do the music, and then you might have a gig and you have to go straight out. And like, how do you protect yourself mentally and physically from the pressures of all that?
Guess I always take time to rest
Yeah,
and do. I think the most important part is like having this thing called like a third space, where it's
yeah,
like you have a place where you can just be yourself, where I'm not an artist and I'm not a musician, and also I'm not a hospitality like server. I'm just
yeah,
myself. And when you get to like switch off like that, it you become like more like well rested, and you have more energy to like throw yourself into your creative projects. I guess it's just for me, I mean, I'm still learning as I go, but like I have to like remind myself to like rest, because if I'm constantly like working, no matter what I'm working on, I just run out of energy, and then I just feel like burnt out, and I feel like that's the worst thing to have as an artist,
yeah.
the feeling of being burnt out and nothing to give. Yeah, I don't know if that's helpful, but I'm still learning as
No,
well. So
no, it is, because I think this is something that like people that do music or acting or whatever it may be creatively, I think it's the thing that people like forget to do, or if they do it, they struggle to do it. I'm guilty of it myself, and I think this is just something I thought I'd bring up because this series we are well, I am trying to focus on more of the the aspects that people don't think about in music, like mental health and well-being, and and this is why I thought I'd ask this question, because I feel like people need to think more about
definitely.
this aspect, because if you're not speaking about you specifically, but if you're not looking after yourself, then you can never get to your potential because you're always burnt out. So it's
Exactly.
but it's a fine balancing act. It's like spinning plates, isn't it? You're trying
Yeah,
to,
exactly.
like you can rest, but then sometimes you're like, well, I actually don't have time to rest. I need to get whatever X, Y, and Z done. So it, it it's a constant challenge, like I say.
Definitely.
So
And it's quite vulnerable, like being an artist as well. Like sometimes when you're really emotional, you're like, oh, this would be great for this piece of work. But also, like, am I in a place where I can like work right now, or do I need to rest and kind of like work through that? And it's kind of like balancing like all your emotions, because being an artist, your emotions are like the most important thing for your work. So it is like hard to like balance it all, and like, yeah, it is a balancing act, as you say.
I love that. I love that. I think what we're going to do now is go to the next round, which is discography, where we talk about your music. So 1 second, and we'll be back with that. Okay, so this is discography, where we talk about our artist today, Zara's music. So to start it off, currently you've got the 2 songs on Instagram. They're called Desire and Fool. Do you want to just tell me about the songs, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. So Phil was my debut single that I released in July last year. That song is about unrequited love, kind of just like dreaming about like a romanticized version of love, and then coming to terms with the reality of it, and still being like pulled towards this person even though you know it's unrequited. Kind of like the first love, like kind of like confusion and not really knowing what's going on, but you feel everything as well. And that song is kind of more like folk, ethereal, and yeah, it was my first single. Desire is was my second single, and that's kind of more of an upbeat poppy folk track. It's about a passionate love that comes from being like fully seen and heard by someone, where you can be like your authentic self, and you can have the happiest version of me, and you can have like the not so nice version of me, because we're all human and we have both sides. And just kind of that feeling of like, oh, finally, like I can give every piece of me to someone, and this feels like amazing. And that kind of, that track is like upbeat and kind of like has more of like a dance kind of rhythm to it. And it's very kind of different to Phil, but yeah.
Well, I do like your sound of music you make, but like when I listen to your sound, it reminds me of an older style of sound, if you catch my drift.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I kind of, my voice is like my main instrument. I can play basic guitar, but I'm definitely not like, I would never call myself like a guitarist, because I just play so I have something to accompany me. So like my voice is like my main instrument, and that's how I like express myself. And yeah, I think it comes across more in Phil than it does in Desire. Um, I would say that Phil is more of like a representation of my music, and Desire was kind of like a not an experiment, but it definitely doesn't really sound like the rest of my music. It kind of like stands alone.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, first point I want to make is you saying about the guitar. You said that you didn't feel like the best guitar player. Well, it doesn't show on the camera.
That's good. That's good.
So it doesn't show in the camera, and if you hadn't said that, I wouldn't know that. So
I know, I need to stop saying that and find out my flaws.
You're obviously doing something right, because it comes across on the camera that like you're very good at guitar. So
thank you.
So I think sometimes
fake it till you make it.
Sometimes like the perception of, because like it's the thing, if you hear your voice, you think you sound terrible. It's only because it sounds the way that the voice is formed, and it sounds different to the person that's using their voice.
Yeah,
because of the cavities in the head.
Exactly, yeah.
But like to everyone else, like that is your voice. You know what I mean? But when you hear your voice, you're like, oh my god, that's not my voice. No, that's someone else's voice. But the point I was trying to remember, the point I was trying to make is like, no, I wouldn't. No, I thought you were quite proficient in the guitar. So yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot. Then I can have that extra bit of confidence.
But like, what was I gonna say? So is that something you want to try and work on in the future then? Like, is
I would
guitar?
I would say yes in a perfect world, but I'm really bad for sitting down and practicing, which sounds strange as like a musician, but like I I like procrastinate a lot and I don't like taking the time to like um sit down and learn guitar. I kind of just pick it up whenever I feel like it, and I guess the way that I learn new chords and stuff is just by like finding a song that I like and I go, I want to sing this, so I'm gonna have to learn how to play guitar. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would love to, and I feel like if one day I get to do this as like my sole career and I have more time, yes, I definitely would love to like learn a bit more guitar and maybe start piano as well. Um, but yeah, I definitely should like practice more, but yeah.
I love that. I love that. What was I gonna say? So, in terms of music, new music in the future, is there anything planned in the pipeline?
Yeah, so my third single is called Stagnant. And that single is about a stagnant love. And once again, it's about kind of like confusion and kind of like um, learning about relationships for like the first time. And yeah, hopefully that comes out at the end of March. I'm still getting things like prepared and organized. But there's a few clips on my Instagram, like I've been like teasing it and stuff like that, but it's still kind of like coming together. So hopefully soon.
Great, great. I think what we're going to do is go to the last round, which is Dream Big. So, 1 second, then we'll be back with that. Okay, so this is Dream Big, and in Dream Big, we talk about future aspirations. So, to start that off, what's your biggest aspiration for your music?
I think I just want to sing to crowds. I want to like have my own concerts, and um, I've always said that I would love to be like performing and hearing my songs being sung back to me. That would be like I've
Yeah,
made it moment. Kind of like, oh, my music kind of made an impact on people so much so that they know the words to my songs. I feel like that's like my biggest goal. Um, and also just to have it as like my career and have like an income from it, I
yeah,
guess would be like the dream. Um, yeah.
I love that. So this is a hard question. So just to give you a bit of warning,
Okay.
what's your dream artist to collaborate with?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's a hard question
Yeah,
sometimes
it's a
though,
hard
because
question.
I feel like depending on what you've been listening to in the
Yeah.
week, like it changes. I mean, for me, there's the usual like three suspects, but
Mm.
it does change. So what do you think?
I think it would have to be Leve because she was the artist that inspired me to start writing my own songs. Um, and can I say a second one?
Yeah, go on. It's free to dream. It's
I would
free to
say like
dream.
yeah, I would say Lizzie McAlpine as well. Those two are like my main inspirations. The way that they write songs is so like it just resonates so deeply
Yeah.
within me, and it kind of inspired me and it helped me find my voice. So like I would love to like collaborate with them. That'd be amazing.
So another hard question: dream location or venue to perform at?
Ooh. So there's a beautiful venue in Glasgow called St Luke's, and it's an old church, and it
Yeah,
has this massive stained glass window at the back, and it's so beautiful. And I've always dreamed of like performing in like an old church because of like the acoustics and stuff. So that would be like my dream venue in Glasgow. And I'm not really knowledgeable about any other venues if I'm honest. I
yeah.
only know the ones that are in like my area at the moment, but yeah.
I love that it's like a close to home venue because the one venue that everybody goes for when I ask this question, and it's It's not a criticism. Like, people are allowed to dream how they want to dream. But the one that comes up the most is Glastonbury. So it was nice to get a bit of a. It was nice to get a different answer, and one that's so close to home. Like, I like the humbleness of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, that's nice to
I
see.
guess, like, because my songs are quite like intimate, I want to perform in like intimate spaces.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it makes
theaters
sense.
or like churches. I feel like my music would really like thrive in there. I'm not sure, like, in like an arena. I don't know, maybe one day in the future, but I'm not really sure the songs would like hit as much as they would in like a small like space.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. Like, I mean, that sometimes, like, knowing where you're the best like fit is a good thing to be like self-aware of, like that, which, you know, self-awareness is really a good thing. So I love that. So when people look back through history and they find your music, what do you want your music to be remembered for?
I think for the truthfulness of it. That's something that I'm working on as like a person, is being more authentic and being more truthful. So hopefully that comes across in my music. I feel like that's the thing that I want. I want someone to listen to it and go, whoa, she's saying like truths that no one else is saying,
Yeah,
I guess.
I definitely would say you can hear that. Like I say, you know, so
Great.
I think that's ticks off the list now, isn't it?
Woo!
But yeah, I think you know, I think musically you're in a good place, and I think if you carry on the way you are, only good things can come. And I'm not saying that to be nice, and I feel like I say this every single episode. But when I do, and I say the next bit as well every single episode. But I genuinely think that, and I'm not saying it because you're on. But I genuinely think, you know, if you carry on going in a trajectory that you're going, that you'll get to where you want to go, and if not, you'll land somewhere amongst that. So,
Thank you
like I
so
say,
much.
just keep working hard, and I'm sure good things are on the way.
Thank you.
So it's been great having you on the podcast, and I just wish you all the best for the future. And when your next track comes out in March, send it over to us, and we'll happily do a post to help you to promote it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if you keep us up to date what you're up to, and we'll let the viewers know through the Instagram. I just want to say thank you very much for your time, Zara. Wishing you all the best for the future. Want to hear more music, and yeah, really great speaking with you.
Great. Thanks for having me.
In the mix with DJ Rambo Rich.